All right, guys, so we're going to derive the first equation of kinematics. And just so you know, there is a PowerPoint that goes with all of these and walks you through all of this if that's what you would rather do and not have to watch me work it. So we're going to derive the first equation of kinematics. So the first equation of kinematics is, the final velocity is equal to the initial velocity plus acceleration times change in time. So that's what we're going to start with. We're going to derive that first. All right, so when we start, the first thing we need to do is draw a generic velocity time graph. So that's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a generic velocity time graph. All right, so I'm going to, let's say start here, go here. Looks good to me. So with it being a generic graph, there's no units or values. And I drew this line to show that the velocity was constant. So the velocity isn't changing. There's a constant There's a constant acceleration. The velocity is changing. I drew this line to show the acceleration is constant. There's no change in the acceleration. And I'm going to label 2 points on the line. So I'm going to choose this as my first point. And I'll choose this as my second point. And I need to label them. So at this first point, my time is 1. That's my initial time. And here's my initial velocity. At this second point, I have my final time, and I have my final velocity. All right, so now I just need to solve. So the next thing I'm going to do is I know that the slope of a position time graph is acceleration. So I need to find the slope. All right, so my slope is equal to my rise over my run. So my slope, or my acceleration, is equal to my rise is my final velocity minus my initial velocity. My run is my final time minus my initial time. All right, I can simplify this. So I can say my acceleration is equal to my final velocity minus my initial velocity all over a change in time. And the first equation of kinematics solves for our final velocity. So I need to rearrange to solve for final velocity. So I'm going to multiply out my change in time. So I'm going to have a change in time equals final velocity minus initial velocity. I'm going to take my initial velocity and I'm going to move it over. So I'm going to get that my final velocity is equal to my initial velocity plus acceleration times change in time. And there you have it. That's how to derive the first equation of kinematics. It's also getting its definition from the definition of acceleration. So we're essentially reworking acceleration is equal to rise over run on a velocity time graph.